Do we have people watching in? No? Okay. Okay, welcome everyone. It's Monday, November 17th, 2025. This is the Board of Equalization and Review for Buncombe County. Call the board to order. Per the North Carolina General Statutes of the Board of Equalizations, they must convene to hear appeals for property owners or their representatives. The duties of the board can be found in the North Carolina General Statutes 105-322. I ask all cell phones to please be silenced. And roll call. I'm Randall Barnett, current chairperson.
I'm Katerina Leaker.
Glenda Weinert.
Bill White.
Thank you very much. After roll call, the first thing is the consent agenda. Among the consent agenda is the approval of the minutes for September 15th, 2025. Also the approval of the late exemption applications. And they've been judged for good cause. And the last is property value changes since September 3rd, 2025. Do we have any questions about any of these that are on the consent agenda? Everything's going to stay on the consent agenda for a vote? Okay. All those in favor of the consent agenda, raise your hand and say aye.
Aye.
Okay. That passes. The next thing is our only hearing today. And we have Mr. Young here today. Okay. But first, we're going to let the county representative come forward. So, Whitney Meadows. Okay, Whitney, do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are giving in this proceeding will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So help you God.
I do.
Thank you.
Okay, good afternoon, board. We are here today to hear the appeal in regards to the Jack R. Young Trust removal of 12.99 acres from the PUV due to a split in ownership change. Okay. On 7/22/25, the original pin, I'm not going to read that, but the original pin was contained 99.68 acres. Within that 99.668 acre tract, 84.6 acres were receiving the PUV deferment for forestry. That pin split into two different pins under two different ownerships. As a result, according to the North Carolina General Statutes, the exemption division removed 12.99 acres that no longer qualified from PUV due to the split in ownership change. The new parcel, Parcel A, pin number 9731443439, under the name of the Jack R. Young Trust, retained 47.49 acres. This parcel still qualifies for PUV. We have no issues with that parcel. Parcel B, 9731345547, under the name of William G. Young, retained 27.99 acres. This parcel contains home sites as well as 15 RV sites. You must have 20 acres in actual timber production to qualify for PUV per each ownership. Once all the home sites and RV sites are removed, that only leaves 11.99 acres, and that does not meet the minimum requirements for PUV. So Forest land, according to the North Carolina General Statutes, is individually owned forest land consisting of at least 20 acres that are in actual production and are not included in a farm unit, which means it can't be farmed like animals, hay, anything like that. It has to be strictly timber. North Carolina General Statute 105-277.24. Individually owned property is owned by one of the following. So it breaks down our ownership, how we have to look at it. So you have individual ownership, which is an individual person. You have a business entity. You have a trust. And then those are the parts that you have to qualify on. So if you're an individual, you have to own 20 acres. If you're a trust, you have to own 20 acres. It's not the same ownership. North Carolina General Statute 105-277.4C. I'm just going to read the highlighted part of it. The deferred taxes for the preceding 3 fiscal years are due and payable in accordance to North Carolina General Statute 105-277.1F when the property loses its eligibility for deferral as a result of a disqualifying event. A disqualifying event occurs when the land fails to meet any conditions or requirements for classification or when an application is not approved. Okay, so the picture above is how the property sat before it split. So you can see that was one big whole unit there. And then the property split. So the first picture actually shows, I was trying to zoom in and show you like all the RV sites, and you can see that on that map. It's kind of a circle and then it goes way down, and then that's some rough area up through there. And then just this side is the only timberland that would be considered as part of that forestry. Sure. So the yellow picture up here prior to the split, and the one highlighted in red is the split. So in summary, in accordance to North Carolina General Statute 105-277.2 and North Carolina General Statute 105-277.4, the exemption division was correct in removing 12.99 acres from forestry PUV, creating deferred bills due to a change in ownership and a split that resulted in PIN 973134547 not containing the minimum amount of forestry acres to qualify for PUV. The staff's recommendation is to affirm that the removal of the 12.99 acres of forestry PUV is correct. Are there any questions?
How much money are we talking about here with the deferred taxes?
So you were sent the tax bills.
About $800.
So you would add all 4 of those tax bills up. So the first tax bill is $995.67. That's as of today. Okay. The original amount billed was $780.91. You have 2 months worth of interest on that bill, which is $214.76. Now you have to remember why the interest is so high is because this is a 22 bill.
But we just billed for it.
That's correct, because it's deferred.
2022.
Yes, 2022. The next one would be the 2023 tax bill. The original amount was $789.36. The interest amount to this day is $146.03. The total he owes as of today on that bill is $935.39.
Can you repeat the interest on that?
The interest on that one is $146.03.
Thank you.
The original 2024, the original that we billed was $805.93. The interest on that is $76.56. For a total today, he owes $882.49. The 2025 one, there is no interest because it's not. What got billed, the $830.44 has no interest on that currently.
So we're talking, I didn't write all those down, $3,000 to $3,500 or something.
Yes.
So
And I will say the longer that it goes, so interest accrues at the end of every month. So the longer that goes without being paid, the more interest that's going to accrue.
What's the interest rate?
The what?
The interest rate every month?
That I'm not sure.
Just curious. Doesn't matter. Just curious.
So in the general statutes, if the separation of the property, I understand, was for collateral for a loans, technically the same family, all the same. It's all still contiguous. It's all still owned by the same person, theoretically.
So that rule,
But general statute doesn't look, so I'm going to give you this example. Let's say that I personally by myself own 20 acres. Okay. That's timber. Nothing's on it, straight timber. Okay. And let's say that me and my husband together own 15 acres. Nothing on it, strictly timber. That 15 acres wouldn't qualify because that's a different ownership. Even though I am the owner of the individual tract, because me and my husband own 15 acres, we would not qualify for forestry because that is two different types of ownership. And that's the whole problem.
So somewhere, William Young was advised to split it, put it into different ownership.
From my understanding, it's from a bank loan.
Right. That's
Yes.
right. I remember reading that because they had to do the
For
appraisal.
property improvements.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he would have to answer what happened between him and the bank, why they took out so much. I don't know. But if they would have just taken out the acres for the RV park, that acreage was never in PV to start with. So we would have never had bills on. But when they took out the 27 acres,
Mhm.
that 12.99 acres was already getting the deferment on there. And that's why we had to take that out and do the deferred bills because it changed ownership.
sounds
No.
What
like
year did it change ownership?
2020, it split in, I think,
2022,
2022.
I think. She's got it.
Yeah.
I'm guessing
It's okay.
July 22nd, 2025.
25.
So it just split in 25.
So why are we
Why are
going
we
back to
3
22
years?
to bill him?
That's general statutes. General
Because
statute.
when you're in the present use value program,
Yeah.
if suddenly you lose your exemption, the statute requires that the county go back 3 years to collect the deferred taxes. Remember that this is not a tax exemption, but a tax deferral, which are two different things where you are not paying taxes based on on certain acreages, based on whether it's forestry, agricultural, horticultural. So those would be the reasons, but it's a deferral. So we're basically collecting the deferred taxes with interest.
Because of the change that happened in July of 2025. Okay. I think I got it.
So the taxes are just deferred. They're going to have to be paid at some point
Eventually.
anyway.
If a split happens, name change, the property sells, a disqualifying event. We call it a disqualifying event.
Is it, well, I feel like my questions are mostly for.
Now I will go ahead and tell you this.
Okay.
Before you talk to him.
Okay.
If they do recombine this, okay, let's say they leave the 15 acres out, that stays in his personal name. They add that 12.99 acres back to the original tract, the large tract, and they put it in the name of the trust. Or if they don't put it, if they change the trust name and put it in his individual name, they can reapply the preceding January to come back in to the PUV program. However, that doesn't make these bills go away, but they can apply for that 12 acres to come back in.
Right. So 2026 could be deferred.
If all the deeds and the transfer and the name changes happen before January 1. It's how it sits as a January 1.
So they need a good attorney to help them follow the legal boundaries.
Correct. Yes.
And it sounds like that's what the owner's planning on doing from the letter.
From my understanding of the letter, yes.
Any other questions? Good information. I guess we're good
Okay.
for now.
Okay.
Yeah, I was
I
gonna
mean,
say.
you're
we
still
may have-
here. You're still
yeah.
here.
Still here.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Mr. Young, did you have any questions for Ms. Meadows? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry.
No, that's great. Thank you for.
Didn't mean to jump in on you, sorry.
Right. Now we can hear from Mr. Young. Okay, before you start, do you swear to affirm that the testimony you are giving in this proceeding will be true, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do
Thank you.
appreciate the opportunity. I'm not alleging that the county did anything wrong with this cancellation because of the way the law is. It's just I wanted, it was so technical that I wanted to express that. I wish the bank had just leaned the entire 99 acres. And then I guess I wouldn't have, be here. But for whatever reason, they chose to carve out that section and put it in my name. And we needed the money for the repairs from my lien. We got beat up pretty bad up there. And it just, I was the trustee of the trust, the beneficiary of the trust, and they wanted it in my name personally. I kind of saw it was all the same. It was all me. And it just didn't occur to me about that it would trigger this situation.
You had attorney representation?
I did. And Annika Brock was my attorney. She did a good job, but I guess she didn't realize the forestry aspect of it, apparently. And I didn't either.
Yeah. Does she know? Does she know she made a mistake in
Yeah,
advice?
yeah.
She's a good attorney. I like her.
Yeah, she did a good job. I've never met her except on the phone, but I was happy with her work. She, I guess, just wasn't aware of the forestry thing. So, it's not a gigantic amount of money, I guess, but it just seemed that it didn't make sense to me.
Right. And you're going to need an attorney to fix it. Your
Yeah.
letter says you're planning on fixing it.
Yeah, I've already asked her to. We're just going to put it all in my name. The trust is just something my dad set up. It's an unnecessary layer.
Okay.
So it'll all go back to the 99.68
yeah.
under one.
And when the forestry, Eco Foresters was my consultant, they set up the forestry stewardship plan. They carved out that area that the campground was on. So it was already removed. So nothing really changed, except the name on the deed.
Right. So the non-forested areas were already accounted for and kind of,
In
that's the 12.99.
Yes.
Is that right? And so, okay. Is there still a lien on the parcel that was carved out?
Yeah, the bank you know, they have a mortgage on it.
Yeah.
And
I just wonder if the bank will allow the recombination if there's already.
They will if you put it under, if it's all under your name and not under the trust, correct?
yeah, well, I wasn't really thinking of recombining it, just putting it all in the same name.
I see. So it matches the ownership requirement
Yeah.
through the, okay. General statute, I see.
Did you have a timber sale with all the toppled trees that came down?
We did not.
Oh.
It broke my heart, all
Yeah.
the trees. I actually bought a portable sawmill and I'm trying to make some lumber out of some of it, but it was just overwhelming, the volume. You know, we just had to, the road up to the campground was closed with trees crisscrossed it because it's about a half-mile road up to the campgrounds up on the ridge.
Yeah, I've been up there before.
Oh, have you?
It's a nice place.
Oh, thank you.
I really like it.
Thank
Cool.
you. So, no, we didn't, weren't able to sell it.
Is it back open now?
We're open. Yeah.
Okay, that's good. That's good. So did the bank choose the line, the drawing? It looks like whoever chose the line to split it went down the, it looks like power
The
easement.
power line.
Yeah,
The bank chose that.
the
They
bank.
actually, I wasn't much consulted on it. They said, we want to carve out the campground area and put it in your name and put a lien just on that
Uh-huh.
versus initially I thought they would just lien the whole, but that's for whatever reason, that's the way they want to do it.
Yeah. So they should have had an overlay map to show where the tree deferment line was. The forestry that the forestry people designed.
Yeah,
Oh, right.
That would have helped.
I guess so. Yeah.
Well, maybe Annika will help you out in her charges to you for the bad advice that she had given in this whole process.
Yeah. She was very helpful. She did some things that helped us get by a little disagreement with the bank. She was,
Well, if you
Did
get
a
it
good-
changed, 2026 could be a whole new start.
Yeah.
Any comment?
I have a question for the county, if I may ask. So I understand the statute and I've looked at it and read it. My question is, it appears to be the same person, beneficiary of the trust, owner of the adjoining property. And even though the bank carved out, the property is still owned by the same person and nothing's changed. It's the campground area is still the campground area and the forest area is still the same area and the same person. It's a matter of a trust name and he's the beneficiary of that trust and then his name. It seems to me like we are kind of splitting hairs.
Well, the thing is that general statute that I read to you, it's very clear, like an individual is one ownership, a trust is another. So they don't look at it as the same person. They look at it as two different entities.
A trust. Where they might not lose their P exception when there's an ownership change. There's, there are two things you gotta watch out for with the PUD is if you're drop below the minimum acres
Sure.
required, so that's one problem, which is totally separate, but then also when you change your ownership, that also could trigger a disqualifying event. So those are two things that you needs to be aware of.
Sure. But if he's the beneficiary of the trust,
It's possible that the ownership, but you still have the issue about that the property or on the parcel is below 20 It's in a separate ownership.
So there, it's twofold.
Doesn't
It's
seem right.
ownership issue and an acreage issue. It's not just one.
No, I understand. I understand the
Yeah.
acreage piece.
Yeah.
But to me, it's, and I'm familiar with the property.
Yeah.
So it seems to me like all one piece of property,
Yeah.
and it's the same person.
Yeah, I understand, but fortunately, that's not how we have to look at it when the general statute.
That's how the legislators set it up.
Yeah.
I understand that. It just seems stupid to me.
Well,
And-
it seems like the individual is being penalized for a natural disaster that happened that caused this individual
To need money for
to need
repair.
money to get a business up and running, and was advised to do it in a way that probably was most beneficial for the loan, but didn't take into consideration the PUV situation and the acreage dropping below 20 acres and going into a separate. And then, yeah, I agree that it seems a bit splitting hairs. And if the individual's intention is to keep ownership of all of it and not.
I will tell y'all that on the website
Mhm.
that if you go pull this property up, the original pin, I feel like we do a very good job that any elderly deferment, anything, it flashes. So if you pull that pin number up, it flashes. If this property changes, transfer ownership, there will be deferred bills or there will be bills due at that time. So it flashes on our website. So if they were to pull it up on our website, the lawyer, the bank, anybody, if they were to pull it up, they would know
There's a
there's going to be
indication
bills.
that something's going to be different.
Yeah.
That's good.
Ugh,
So
I don't like it for you because I feel like it's all literally all just rolled downhill to you. You were trying to fix one mess and another one got created.
So if it gets fixed, all in one name and everything, and he hasn't paid the deferment yet, does he get out of paying the deferment? But he has to pay the interest,
He has to pay
The
he has to pay
deferment.
the bills and interest.
the deferment. So that'll be new deferment starting in 2026,
If
just on that little bit, because he already still has the deferment.
so, let's say by January 1st that everything's in the same name.
Okay.
He's going to fill out an application for the whole property to be in PUV. The remaining plus that 12.99 that we took out and did bills on, we're going to bring it back in. So in 2026, if that gets approved, he will receive his deferment on the original amount that he was receiving on it. However, that does not do away with the tax bills, the deferred tax bills in hand or the interest. It is just going forward.
So
Because
if we were to say we have a vote here and say we voted for Mr. Young, are we setting a precedent for any kind of future tax bills? I mean, because it seems like we're, all of us are pretty sympathetic to Mr. Young, and we don't want to, but we don't want to set a precedent to where another case comes up and, we vote another way.
The law is fairly clear on this point, and I think that you would be establishing a precedent more where you would be granting an appeal based on subjective circumstances as opposed to what the law says. So I think that you need to be very careful about that and creating an exception or more or less like a hardship exception. There's nothing like that, especially with present use value. We have many people who take advantage of this program, but also the rules are fairly strict, especially when you have a disqualifying event and there's not a whole lot of remedy. We've had cases that we've taken up to the PTC to basically, defend the law. It's fairly automatic from staff standpoint and whatnot as to what happens. There's not a whole lot of discretion. And usually what we try to caution people is before you make your real estate transaction, such as record your deed or whatnot. Because once that gets done, that's what triggers everything. And there's no way really to pull that back once it happens. So, once again, you can, but if you are going to grant or grant this appeal, I strongly suggest that you find something to hang your hat on. And I'm not sure there's something in the statute for that.
That's well said.
What,
Yeah.
what about the interest?
Once again, this statute is very strictly written, and I don't think that there gives any leeway for the board to waive interest in
Okay.
this, or at least that's my reading of the statute.
That's what I wanted to hear.
So if there's no direction to go and there's only the answer of the deferred taxes being paid, why hear an appeal?
Because the statute allows people to have an
Because
opportunity to be heard and to bring that up.
Right.
Once again, that does not,
It just doesn't seem like we have latitude. And so that's why I'm asking.
Well, we do have latitude. It's just we would be setting precedent.
I would just think that you need to be careful, and I'm not, once again, I can advise the board. I think you have the authority, whether you want to exercise that or not at this time would be a separate question.
I think the only thing that bothers me is it's the same person. It's the same person.
It is, but it's not. Legally, if you have a trust, that is a different ownership. If I was going to sue Mr. Young, and let's say I sued Mr. Young and I got a judgment against Mr. Young and I wanted to collect on that judgment, I could go after the real property that's in his name and his name only. I could not go after the property that is in the trust. Okay, so that is a separate, that does not belong to him. It belongs to the trust. He's a beneficiary of the trust, but that is not an asset that I could theoretically or legally attach to collect a judgment. So the law considers those separate legal entities. I get the semantics and everything like that, but when somebody puts property in a trust, they are taking it out of an individual ownership.
That makes sense.
And once again, for the record, I completely understand Mr. Young's, and I'm very sympathetic to his thing. I believe staff will try to get him in the best position that we can. But sometimes with these tax things, when a mistake is made and staff has not been fully consulted, there's not a lot we can do, to put the pieces back together once an action's happened.
I think the problem is the legal advice. So do we hear a motion?
Shall we?
Anyone ready for a motion? Not yet?
Yeah. I mean, yes. Yeah. I think we are ready. Ready for vote? It sounds like if Mr. Young chose to take it beyond the board, it's pretty black and white. Just based on the statute. Sorry,
Yeah.
it's such a, yeah, all the layers.
That's 22 or something.
Yeah. As my mom would say, damned if you do and damned if you don't.
Yeah.
Grew up with that mindset.
So
Oh,
can I make a motion or do they have to make a motion?
No, anybody can make a motion.
Okay.
sorry, I was waiting for you.
All right.
Yeah, I don't.
I was just wondering if anyone else wanted to make the motion, but I can make the motion. I make the motion that we deny the appeal to Mr. Young and go with the county. All those are, any questions about my motion?
No, thank you.
All right. All those in favor say aye and raise your hand.
Bye.
Aye. All those opposed? Okay. 3-1.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm glad it wasn't a tie.
Well, the motion would have failed, but you wouldn't have, you would have just had to make the opposite motion to approve, and you might be in the same situation.
Right.
Hence, the approval would never get granted. You need to have an affirmative or a majority to approve.
Right.
or deny.
I just want to be clear. I understand why we had to do what we did. I don't think the county did anything incorrectly.
Correct.
I do think it's a very gray situation. And that's when I struggle. If you were not related in any way and took over ownership and it was this big transfer of ownership, I would understand. But I have a trust myself and know why my father did the things that he's done. And in his mind, I'm the beneficiary and I'm the owner. But if it were in Buncombe County, that would not be the case if we tried to do or be in a PUV or something like that. So I understand. It makes me wonder why some general statutes are so black and white and some are nebulous. It's hard for me because I like for things to be more clear. So not that I disagree with what we've done, but I have a hard time when it's the same ownership. So, but I understand from a legal
Appreciate your-
perspective as well.
I think
But-
you could get Mrs. Brock to help you get it fixed.
Sorted out. Yeah. Will do.
And call me, I'll be happy.
Yeah,
I was going to say, I think it's in your best interest and advice to lean on the tax department and ask the questions and let them provide the directions so that as you move forward, you're clear. There may be some legal pieces that have to be handled, but they're the authority, especially on general statutes.
I think the eco-forester people have a pretty concept of, because he said we would need to probably update the forestry stewardship plan as well as get the property in my name by January 1st. So. We do.
yeah. Well, I'm glad you're doing this because it protects our forest.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's
that's
what we want.
a big priority for us.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you,
Mr.
sir.
Young.
Thank you.
Thank you.
More agenda items,
We're on the new business item.
which is new business. Yes. So new business, we're going to do something new this year and well in advance, set the convening and adjourning dates, because usually we wait until what,
yeah.
February or so? But we're going to
Yeah,
do
I
it in
think-
November.
Usually we wait and we kind of deliberate that in an initial meeting or over email to try to figure out when to set those dates, and then we try to get those published. But what I'm trying to do, since it's a reappraisal year, is we're going to send out notices to our property owners. On that notice, which we've never done before, we've never done this, I want to have those convene and adjourn dates on that notice so that when you get that information in February, you know when this board's going to meet and have that ahead of time. So that if you do plan to appeal to the Board of Equalization, you'll have the dates and know when your deadline really is. So,
When did this board start meeting?
oh, like when it was created,
Well, no, us. When did we start?
January of last year,
Gosh, that's
Yeah.
what I,
of this year, 25.
So
Yeah.
This is on the,
I know, I can't believe it's almost,
this is the 11th month.
yeah. Well, you just said February 20. I was thinking like we were meeting last February. Okay. Anyways,
Yeah.
sorry.
And it was about February when we did this.
Yeah.
Yes.
We picked.
Yeah, we had the
dates
training
last
and
year.
Okay.
yeah, and we did. So, the board manual, the Board of Equalization manual, the appeals manual from DOR advises us to not hold the convene date no earlier than the first Monday in April, which would be, if I'm not mistaken, April 6th. Let me look at that.
April 6th.
Yeah.
Yeah,
then it-
and no later than the first Monday in May. So what I want to have is a 4-week period for reappraisal for formal appeals. So by statute, January 1 through the adjourn date is really the appeal period. And we'll be sending notices out in February. So that whole month we'll be sending notices out, and that'll open up the ability for the property owner to appeal. They'll receive their notice, it'll be visible online. They can appeal online or in person or over the phone or by email. But I just want to get this date out there. So at a minimum of 4 weeks and the deadline to appeal being the adjournment date being May the 4th.
Is there any reason not to keep our Mondays, our first and third Mondays of the
Well, I
month?
think when we go to the convene date, we can set our appeal hearing schedule, or we can do it during the adjourn date. That way you'll know how many appeals we have. The appeal period to be over. During that meeting, we'll say when we're gonna, what dates of the week, how many times a month we're gonna meet. We'll set that and we'll get it published in the papers.
Okay.
Kind of like we did this year. So
Okay. So you want us to
4-6
set,
through 5-4?
you want us to set it now, making a motion? And
that would be great
and
because that way we
approve
can
it.
get our notices created, everything
That way-
rolling, because those things take time and
That way, every landowner in Buncombe County will have it way in it.
yes, that's the goal.
They can make their plans
So I have a
in the audience.
question. Is Monday the 13th a possibility of April instead of the 6th?
Well, one thing I'll mention is you only have to have a quorum. So not everybody needs to be.
No,
present.
it's just Easter Monday.
Oh,
The 6th is Easter Monday.
Oh.
That's the only reason I'm asking.
yeah. Do we have that? Is that a holiday?
It's not for y'all. For some people it is.
No, but if it's like,
It's not a state or county holiday.
Six. Oh, why did I say four?
Let me see here.
So that was the only reason for asking.
But we don't have to have it on a Monday. It could also be Tuesday, the
But-
next day.
We could do the 7th.
So if,
Just no earlier than the first Monday of April.
but if we said the 6th, people would be upset because would the county be closed for them to?
No,
I just
no,
said
we
it's
would not
a
be
county
closed.
holiday.
Oh, okay, then it doesn't
But
matter.
it's,
I mean,
it may be a religious holiday that's observed by some.
some.
Yes.
that's why I was just
The
asking,
name-
could we move it one
But
day?
it's 4 weeks. They have plenty of days left.
Right, can
We're
we
not
put on the
actually coming in
7th
on the 6th.
instead of the 6th?
Are we?
Could. That would. put
Quorum
it-
would.
That would put it
Yes.
to another
Mhm.
holiday, May the 5th.
3 of you need to be here.
Let's make it.
I could do either day.
It's,
That's just.
April's pretty open.
but it is a holiday. For some.
Yeah, keep in mind too, we won't be holding any, we'll be present, set the date, deliberate on the adjournment date. So the May the 5th or 4th, whichever we land on. So no one will be here to appeal. You won't have any formal appeal hearings.
So it would be my request if we could meet on that Tuesday, the 7th. If it doesn't interfere with any of you other folks.
That's fine.
I second the motion.
Okay.
But-
What time, Eric? 1?
Same time.
Yeah,
Okay.
1 to 3, okay.
So we change it to the 7th.
So 4-7
fine.
and then 5-5. Wait, did we already talk about that being Cinco de Mayo? Okay,
Yeah, but
that's
it
what's
doesn't
the whole
matter.
conversation.
Just you can't drink at the meeting.
That's just a fun.
We don't care about Cinco de Mayo. That's just a fun.
Just a fun day.
You could drink
Not a
after the
holiday.
meeting, but you can't drink
It's just a
during the
fun-
meeting.
Yeah, because the numbers match. Cool.
All right. So they want to have. You guys want to have a motion and a
Motion.
vote on that?
Yeah, you made a motion,
Yeah.
He made
I
a
made a
motion.
motion.
but we don't need to second it. It's just a
Right.
motion.
So the motion's made. Is it? Did Linda amend your motion at all? Okay. I just wanted to be sure with the date, so it'll.
The 7th.
It'll be
Yeah.
the 7th.
The motion is the 7th to May the 5th.
So have 4-week period.
So now we can't say May the 4th.
Great. Thank you all.
May the
So
4th.
so the motion's been made. We have a vote on that motion.
All those in favor, raise your hand and say aye.
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 Any opposed? There's no opposed. 'Cause
No.
All 4 of us said it. I don't even say that.
Send out the calendar invite.
Awesome.
Thank you all.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Oh,
I'll
yes.
second.
All those in favor of adjourning, say aye, raise your hand.
Aye.
Aye. We have to do the rest again, so for recording.
I